Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress. One of the super tournaments each year is played in Dortmund in Germany. It is a special tournament for the 14th former world champion Vladimir Kramnik. He has won the tournament 10 times and this year in 2017 he was only 10 rating points behind Magnus Carlsen on the rating list. And with a good result in the Dortmund tournament he would be able to overtake Magnus Carlsen and would be number one on the rating list again. It would be the first time since 2010 that Magnus Carlsen would be knocked off the first place on the rating list. In the first round, Vladimir Kramnik played his compatriot Vladimir Kramnik-Fedoseev, the newest rising star from Russian chess. Let's have a look at what happened in this first round encounter. Kramnik white, Fedoseev black played on the 15th of July 2017. Kramnik opened e4. Now and then Kramnik plays this move. Mostly he likes d4 or knight f3. He beat Magnus Carlsen in Norway Chess 2017 with this move and he plays it again in this game. Fedoseev plays c6, the Caro-Kann defense, his favorite opening, so it was not a surprise to Kramnik. d4, d5, and Kramnik plays the exchange variation. E takes d5, c takes d5, bishop d3, knight c6, c3, and queen c7. There's a very famous game, Bobby Fischer against Tigran Petrosyan from the Soviet Union versus the rest of the world match in 1970. Petrosyan played knight f6, Fischer played bishop f4 and went on to win the game. But Fedoseev played queen c7 instead on the fifth move. Knight a3 from Kramnik, a6, knight c2, knight f6, h3 and e6. Alexander Grishuk, another Russian grandmaster, played e5 here against Magnus Carlsen in 2016 and Carlsen showed that the isolated pawn on d5 is a weakness. He went on to win that game. Fedoseev played more carefully with e6, knight f3 from Kramnik and b5. Black's main problem is his bishop on c8, looking at its own pawns. Kramnik castled, bishop b7, rook e1, bishop d6, bishop g5, and now Fedoseev plays a very instructive move. He plays knight e4, which is a strong pawn sacrifice to solve the problem of his bishop on b7. He could have castled instead, but then Kramnik could have played bishop takes f6, g takes f6, and for example knight h4, and white can play for an attack against black's weakened king's position. But as said, Fedoseev played knight e4. Kramnik did not take the pawn, which he could have taken with bishop takes e4, d takes e4, rook takes e4, but then knight a5 with the bishop attacking the rook, rook back to e1 for example, and then knight c4. Black has compensation for the pawn because of his strong pieces. That troublesome bishop on b7 is now black's best piece. Kramnik did not go for that. He played the aggressive move a4 instead. Fedoseev took, and then c4. Kramnik tries to open up the position while black's king is still on e8 and white's rook is on e1. If he can open the position, then he will have a strong attack against black's king. Fedoseev took on g5, knight takes g5, and d takes c4. Bishop takes c4 from Kramnik. It looks dangerous for black. There are several sacrifices on e6, and he has to consider those, as well as the d4, d5 move, and maybe ideas with queen h5. It looks like white has a strong attack. Here Fedoseev could have castled, get his king out of the danger, out of the center of the board. But then, for example, queen h5, And it looks dangerous with many white pieces attacking the black king, who does not have much piece protection. Instead, Fedoseev chose knight d8 instead of castling. Knight e3 from Kramnik, bishop f4, and black has a threat. We'll see that in a minute. Here Kramnik could have kept the position equal with queen takes a4 check, or rook c1 is another move, but he blundered here. He played queen h5, and black now wins a piece simply by removing the defender from bishop c4. He played bishop takes e3, that knight was defending the bishop, rook takes, and queen takes on c4. Black has now won a full piece. Of course, Kramnik hoped that he had a big attack against black's king. He played rook takes e6, and knight takes e6 also wins for black, but Fedoseev did not want to open up his king, which is very instructive. If you have several wins, look for the safest one. After knight takes e6, Kramnik could have taken on f7 with check, king d8, and then either queen takes b7 and then knight c7, or otherwise after king d8, knight takes e6 check and king c8. Black is winning, but the black king is in open space and Fedoseev did not want that. That's why he played king f8, rook back to e5, and now h6, preparing the move g6. You cannot play g6 straight away, because then there is mate in 2, queen a6 check, king g8, and rook e8 is checkmate. After h6, Kramnik played rook a e1, bringing another piece into the attack. g6 now from Fedoseev, queen back to h4, and king g7. The black king is now perfectly safe, and black is a full piece up. Knight takes f7 from Kramnik. In desperation, he sacrifices another piece. His only chance to save this game is to attack. Fedoseev took, and rook e6, g5, kicking the queen again, queen went to h5, and rook h e8, very good move, bringing that rook into play. You can take on e8, you think you win a rook, rook takes e8, rook takes e8, rook takes e8, but then there is queen c6, and because of the mate threat on g2, black will regain the rook with a winning position. Kramnik did not take on e8. After rook h e8 he played queen g6 check, king f8, and please note what a brilliant job that knight on f7 does, defending his king by covering the h6 and h8 squares. f3 from Kramnik, queen takes d4 check, king h1, and rook a c8. Here Vladimir Kramnik resigned. His attack has been completely neutralized and black's pieces are now all in the game. Kramnik fell victim of his own aggression in this game. Fedoseev picked up the pieces and carefully defended his position. And because of this loss in the first round, the first position on the rating list was now far away again from Kramnik. He made 5 draws in the next 5 rounds, 1 in the last round, ended up on a 50% score and was not able to take over Magnus Carlsen's #1 position on the rating list in this tournament. We will hear a lot more from his opponent Vladimir Fedoseev. As I record this video, Fedoseev has made the quarterfinals of the 2017 World Cup. Let's see how that develops. Hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel. Please leave a comment, and if you liked the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media. You also may want to check out my Chess to Progress channel. The link is in the description box. This is Rick from Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.